Hi, welcome to GRVOTV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions. This is my initial thoughts on my new Panasonic Lumix GX8. Only just become available in the UK as of this week, and so I had it on pre-order, so I've got it as soon as I could. And what I'll do is I'll start off with the one bad point that I've found so far. And that is on the front there's a little button, and it's set as a depth of field preview type button, a bit of a throwback to the digital, to the SLRs and that, which is fine, but when you pick up the camera and hold it, and especially when you're sort of holding it one-handed low down, it's actually quite easy to press the button and activate a function that you don't necessarily want. So I thought, well, okay, I'll deactivate it, but you can't. You can change it to a multitude of different things, and what I've changed it to is the level on the screen, because if I turn that on and off it doesn't actually matter. So I've got around it like that. So that's the one bad point. So we're not doing bad, and the more I sort of touch and use this camera, the more I'm already falling in love with it. My little bugbears about the GX7 have all been put to rights. It's so much nicer to hold. The lever on the back is now an autofocus single, autofocus continuous, manual focus. And like when you click into manual focus, you get a reasonable punch in, like magnified area on the screen, and the focus peaking kicks in, and it's just simple, easy to use. There's loads of function buttons to set the camera up as you want. There's a nice function button here which I use for ISO and white balance. Another little function button there which will switch me to silent mode. I've got two more function buttons on the back which I use for the scene modes, which is great. I mean, they're not buttons you use all the time, but they're handy to have. There's also a quick menu for lots of different things, and you've got the quick access buttons here for things like drive modes and focusing points and things like that. The rotating screen is fantastic. I just love that. To me, that's an essential now. The viewfinder is well, it's like better than real life, if you see what I mean. There's no lag, there's no colour blur, it refreshes really quickly. It's easily the best viewfinder I've used on any camera. It's absolutely fantastic. You wouldn't even know, to be honest, when you hold it up. It's difficult to even notice that it's an electronic one. It just looks so lifelike. It's absolutely fantastic. Yes, it does pop up, but you know, that is what it is. If that interests you. The dials are beautifully machined, Ali, and especially the PASM dial and the exposure compensation dial under it. I mean, that is just a lovely touch. The way that works is fantastic, and they're so grippy and nice. You're never going to knock them by mistake or anything. Your front and rear dials work great. Nice amount of resistance. The on-off button is in the right place, so I can carry the camera single-handedly, turn it on and off. That was a big bugbear with the OMD M5s. Responsiveness. Now that's one of my big things with digital cameras, is responsiveness, and this is proper responsive. The GX7 was fantastic, made you want to use it, take lots of pictures, but this is even better. I mean, it's fast, it shoots quickly. The autofocus is like bang, snap. It's just like bosh, 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 bosh. It's like as quick as I can sort of move around, it gets focus. It's fantastic. I love it. And the continuous autofocus, which is another issue that I had with especially with the OMD M5, the continuous autofocus on that was a real issue for me. And I knew this had the DFD system in that was in the GH4, which I had no real issues with. It worked reasonably well. This is the same. I've just done some quick test shots of the dogs running about, and my hit rate is so much better than it was with the EM5. It slows down a little bit in continuous shooting to about 5 or 6 frames a second, I think, but that's plenty, and it's great. Obviously one of the headline features is the 4K. Now for me the 4K video, it's going to be interesting to play with that, but it's this 4K burst photo mode. So instead of having to sort of thinking, oh yeah, I'll take some video and then extract a photo from it, if you think I'm going to use the video mode, but I'm not taking video, I just want to extract a couple of stills from it, but I want to pick that exact right moment, you put it into 4K photo mode, which is dead easy. You can have it set up different ways, but the easiest way of it is you just press and hold the button for as long as you want. It records 30 frames, whatever it is, per second. You just scroll through on the screen, on the absolutely gorgeous touchscreen, and this is a proper touchscreen. It's not a half-assed touchscreen where only some things work, so everything works in this. If I go into the menus and I want to change the menu settings, I can click on things, I can go back, I can click on there and go up, digital zoom, let's click into that. You know, I've got, it's so easy to use, and it works like that on everything, you know, when you're pinching and everything. So yeah, I digress. So this 4K photo mode, you get a whole bunch of photos and you quickly scan through, and you can use the buttons or just on the screen. You scan through, find the exact frame you want and just click save as a frame, and you've got it's only an 8 megapixel photo, but you get an 8 megapixel photo of that exact moment that you want, and that is it's fantastic. Not for every situation I'm going to use that, but there are certain circumstances, especially when say my kids are playing football or something, or the dogs are playing, and I know it's going to be difficult to get that exact right shot. The 4K photo mode is just fantastic for that. The menu system is, to me, it's familiar because I've used the GH3, the GH4, the GX1 and the GX7, and they're all very similar. To me, things are where you would expect them to be in the menus. It's easy to navigate. Again, the touchscreen makes everything so much easier. It's really good. The touch to focus is just, it's so nice. It's fantastic. And so I'm touching to focus here, and so I want to snap it back to the centre. Just press the display button back to the centre. If I want to turn the touchscreen off, I've got a function button set up to turn the touchscreen off. So now I can't move it. Just go back. So now the touchscreen is inactive. Again, 2 touches and a back, and then we're back to touchscreen. It's there you go. It's just brilliant, and I can make that bigger and smaller, the focus point. I don't know if you can get that on the screen, but it's just so responsive. It's iPhone responsive, it's that good. So I'm absolutely loving it. It's big, bright, crisp, lovely. When I put the 12 to 35 Pro lens on, I expected to get dual image stabilisation, and I didn't. I got lens stabilisation. I thought, oh, that's weird. There was no dual, and when I turned it off, it just went off. There was no other stabilisation, which I thought was weird. I then read up, and you have to update the firmware on the lenses to get the dual image stabilisation. Got it done now, all works fine. But the 12 to 35, the 35 to 100, the 14 to 140, 14 to 42, I think you'll have to do a firmware upgrade on the lens. It's all done through the camera, just on the SD card, drag and drop the file onto the SD card, chuck it in the camera, and it does it. It's dead easy to do, just go to the Panasonic website. But you do need to do it to get the dual image stabilisation. When I put lenses like I've got the 20mm f1.7 and the Olympus 40 to 152A Pro lens, when I put them on, I just get in-body image stabilisation. Now that's not as good as the OMD M5's image stabilisation. I want to make that clear. That was the best, without question. I didn't expect this to be as good. It is as good with the dual, but on a lens that doesn't have it, it's not as good. Simple as. But I'm willing to forego that just purely for the better autofocusing. And I know it's not shooting as quick, it doesn't do 10 or 11 frames a second, this does shoots plenty quick enough. I think it's 8 frames a second, 6 if you're in continuous autofocus. Plenty quick enough, you get plenty of shots, and I've got no issues. I'd rather get the more shots in focus, a better hit rate. So that's good. So, is this a keeper? Yeah, big time. I haven't done much testing on the video yet, but I will do. And so this is I've only had this for an afternoon, but already I can't put it down. I just love it. And the silver with the metal finish looks proper retro, proper rangefinder style, but it's got some real nice, modern, technical, top of the range features. It is a beast of a camera, and with this lens on, balances beautifully in the hand. It's not heavy, it's lovely. So anyway, this is GRVOTV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions. My next review I'll have some pictures and video samples to show you. This is just my initial thoughts on the handling. From what I've seen so far, the photos look absolutely fine, no issues at all. The bump in megapixels to 20 from 16, I don't think it's going to make much difference, but we'll see. We'll have a look and see. But I'll show you some of those in due course. So anyway, this is GRVOTV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions. See you soon. Bye. I love you. Oh, you're so beautiful. Your metal on my face is lovely. Oof.